I was purging a bunch of old videos the other day, freeing up some room on my iPad, and I came across this old footage. It's dated about a year ago, so I was still in my somewhat early days of figuring out watercolor painting. And of course, I'm still constantly learning. There will always be more to learn. But as I watched, there was just something really bothering me about this video. It took me a minute to put my finger on it. And no, surprisingly, I'm not talking about the fact that I seem to be just overly concerned with staying in the lines. What bothered me was my inability, or maybe my unwillingness, to trust the paint and the water to do what they're made to do. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Do you notice how I'm fidgeting with the paint, trying to get it just right? Going over and over the same spots without bringing anything new or worthwhile to the table. I'm just so focused on making sure the sky is perfectly consistent, that there aren't any areas that are too light or too dark, too wet or too dry. But what am I accomplishing here? When this painting is completely finished, once I've added that second layer of midtone values and that third layer of the darkest values and more structured details, do you really think that anyone will notice or care that my sky isn't 100% even in the upper right corner? Or that there's a hint of darker values in the middle section, in between the windmills? No, I don't think it will matter. And in fact, watercolor has this really cool ability to continue to even itself out, even after we put down our paintbrush. The paint will continue to blend and soften, making these tiny little imperfections that we stress over almost untraceable. But we'll touch more on that later in this video. So, just to make myself perfectly clear, in my opinion, the number one most important thing you need to learn when painting with watercolors is trust your paints to do what they're supposed to do. This will save you so much time. Avoid the stress, the unnecessary trouble, and allow watercolor painting to just be a fun and relaxing experience. So if your way of painting looks anything like mine did, then stick around. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of what your paints are capable of. And even if you've had trust issues in the past, I'm about to show you that watercolors truly can be trusted. Do you notice in the painting here, I'm doing it again with the river. I keep revisiting the same areas. And as the painting began drying and the colors started changing, I was so afraid that my colors wouldn't be consistent. I didn't trust that I could simply let the entire paper dry and be left with a perfectly usable base layer. I think we often put too much pressure on that initial wash. I know that I used to. So the question is, do we really think that all that messing and fussing was necessary? Let's find out. This time around, I'm going to keep it simple. Wet down my paper, add my main colors, and let them do their thing. Watercolor paints are made to work together with the water, and the colors are made to blend together. We don't need to do all the work. This is what they do. So I'm not going to spend any time fussing. I'm basically going to do the bare minimum that's required of me in order to demonstrate just how much my watercolor paints will step up to the plate, and they will finish the work for me. Watercolor paints are made up of fine pigments suspended in a binder, but when we add water, we are allowing those pigments to move and flow. This is different than other mediums. If I'm working on an acrylic painting and I walk away and then come back 10 minutes later, I would expect it to look pretty much the same as when I left it. But with watercolors, on the other hand, if I lay down a wet on wet wash and walk away, that painting can look vastly different 10 minutes later. And once we understand what watercolor paints will do when left to their own devices, then we don't have to spend so much time trying to control every aspect of them. And don't get me wrong, we obviously have to do our part too, but as beginners, I don't think we give this amazing medium the credit it deserves. So here I've let my paper dry about 5 to 10 minutes, and wouldn't you know it, it looks fine. The colors did what they were meant to do, and I have a base wash That's complete, and I've already jumped into layer number 2 here. Thanks for doing your part, watercolor. Before I finish this windmill painting, let's talk about another example of this. If you enjoy painting landscapes like I do, then you've likely experienced this yourself at some point. Have you ever tried painting a landscape with those soft, faded trees far in the distance? And you really wanted to get each tree just right. You were so concerned about these lines looking like perfect little trees. So you just kept going back over them over and over. And as the trees start to fade away, you come back with more and you repeat this cycle until eventually you've reached the point where your paint actually started coming back up, leaving the paper bare in some places. You messed around for too long and the surface was no longer a friendly workspace, and each brushstroke was removing the paint instead of laying more down. This is a very frustrating place to find yourself in. And although the painting can probably be saved once it's dry, it can be difficult to come back from this. So I propose that we try this again, but this time we'll be trusting the paint. In round 2, I won't overthink it. I'm adding trees in a variety of different colors, and I am going to walk away. I won't give myself the opportunity to micromanage this entire forest. I will be trusting the process and letting the paints do their job. So here we are, the paper is dry. And now that I look at it, I can see that I probably could have gotten away with even less, but that's all right. As you can see, keeping it super simple will almost always result in that nice, soft, out of focus, distant tree look that we're going for. So thanks again, watercolor, you've done your job. Now let's fast forward and see how well this easy, hassle-free background works in this particular painting. And by relying on the watercolors to do their job in layer 1, I'm actually able to spend a lot more time and effort focusing on the foreground and all of these little details that really bring the painting together. All right, so I definitely prefer the soft trees in this version instead of those overworked trees that we saw in the first attempt. And let's not discount the fact that the unexpected elements can often be the best parts. By trying to control every last bit of the process, we miss out on these wonderful surprises. So we're just going to take a few minutes here to look at some examples of how we can let our paints do most of the work for us while bringing out the unexpected. So we're going to be exploring what happens when we add salt, plastic wrap, and drops of water. And we're going to be leaving these alone for probably 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll see how they look. And I'm just going to do one more attempt with the drops of water. This time I'm letting the paint sit for a little bit longer first, because I think we'll have just a more noticeable reaction there. Okay, so the salt one here I think would be really cool for like a winter scene. And I can imagine using the droplets for something having to do with underwater. Those textures are just great. The plastic wrap experiment, well, it was a little bit different, but I could imagine this would be a cool way to start an intuitive painting, see what designs emerge, and then just go with it. So not bad results considering the little effort that was involved. Thanks, watercolor. Now, let's get back to that windmill painting from earlier. I like to think of watercolor paints as that coworker that you can just pass an assignment off to and you know that they'll accomplish the task. You aren't worried about them bailing or slacking. You can walk away and know that they'll do their job. As long as you lay down the proper foundation, watercolors will step up and do their part. Well, I think I've been talking enough for now, so I'm just going to put on some light music and finish this up. We are just about done with the painting. And let's go ahead and take another look at that first windmill, the one that I'd painted before I had learned to trust my paints. So I don't know about you, but I definitely prefer today's painting over that one. So I challenge you to give yourself a break. Put your trust in your favorite watercolor palette. Don't stress yourself out worrying about perfection, and enjoy painting. Try not to make the process harder than it needs to be. Take it from me, that time and effort you spend messing and fussing over the paint can be used on something more productive. So give your paints a little pat on the back for a job well done. Thanks, watercolor.